So as soon as it's there, it's a vision. And that's important also. That's another piece of those components. Vision, I'm going down a road, which is the purpose. At a certain point in time, 5 years from now, I will have traveled to a particular place. That's a vision. Just as we could look around this room right now and we could say, well, there's a screen up in front of the room and there's this bald-headed guy pointing at the screen and there's white tiles up on the ceiling and there's a gray floor and I can see people and they've got red on and blue on. That's a vision of the current present. If I say now, it's 5 years from now, and if we were working in your organization, we're doing a retreat, and then you get your eyes shut, and we wander out in the future, and we do a little relaxation, and it's the year 2006, and you're out at the beach reflecting back on the organization that you've created during the past 5 years, and you think about last week and what it was like as you left, and take me on a walk through there. What was it like in the morning? What did it physically look like when you showed up? Who was there? How did they greet you? What's your role in that organization? How are people interacting with each other in that organization? What is that organization creating? What advantages does that organization? What is it that it contributes to the world? What do people feel really good about in this organization? As we're walking down the hall and we hear people talking to each other, what kinds of things are they saying? Maybe we walk around out in the community and listen to people talk about your organization in the mind. What do we hear people saying? Now, have it be just the way you want it to be. Presume you had a magic wand. You were creating an idealized future of your country, of your region, of your... What does that look like, sound like, feel like, taste like? That's a vision. Very important. Purpose goes right through there, infinitely into the future. Because you create another vision on the other side of that one. And another one, and another one. One of the deadly things that happens to organizations is they have a vision, and then they achieve it. I mean, that is real trouble. How long would you go bowling if there were no pins at the end of the alley? Think about it seriously. There's this 16-pound thing, and you get to throw it down there, and the reward is it comes back, and you get to do it again, and it just drops off the edge, and it comes back. And then a manager says, this is important, try really hard, you know? Or they put a curtain in front so you can't see whether you hit anything, and they, are down there yelling, 4! And you don't know if you knock 4 down, or if they're 4 up, or the whole thing's a confused mess. So how long are you going to do that? Somebody usually says till the beer runs out, or something. I'll do it till the beer runs out. Yeah. Rolling the ball. Yeah. Dissipate. Oh, yeah, right. Now I understand where that came from. We are a society, a planet, presumably, when I look around the globe, that is fascinated with games. Sports are games of a kind, but many other kinds of games. When some outcome is better than some other outcome, and I can measure the difference, people both participate and watch. Now, if all we had in basketball was big, hairy, sweaty guys running up and down the floor and there were no hoops at the end, it probably wouldn't draw the same crowds. Some people would be excited about it, but most people would not be excited about that. I'm trying to translate that to what we're talking about right here. You were putting pins at the end of the alley or hoops at the end of the court. You're telling people, here's how we're going to measure whether or not we win. You're creating a game for people when you do that. When you create games, you do not need to watch them close. You just need to get stuff out of the way because they're headed in that direction. And by the way, they happen to get paid, but that's not the issue any longer. It's the game. And so in the spirit of creating games, I now will ask you to go back and look at what kind of games have I created. On pages 11 and 12 of your handouts are some examples. Let me pop them up on PowerPoint here for a minute. Are some examples of possible project outcomes in 4 categories. 4 of the categories we talked about. In the healthcare quality area, your project might reduce infection rates or have fewer treatment errors. Sam suggested maybe this will have some impact on treatment errors. We need to take a look at that. Maybe it'll have impact on admissions, or we can get stuff outside, we don't need to come inside. So my point in putting these in your handouts was not to suggest that these were the right outcomes, but to simply exemplify a category of outcomes. You could add 80 of them to that list, given your expertise in that field. We also need to look at the financial outcomes a project might impact. What will it do to cost? What's it going to do to revenue? What's it going to do to the bottom line? What impact will it have on efficiency? And beyond the financial measures, you mentioned access kinds of outcomes. Do people have access to the product? I mean, that's important in many communities to be demonstrating you're having an impact, you're getting the healthcare services available to the people. And in the same sense, we got to have some impact on human outcomes, the patient satisfaction, the physician satisfaction, the pharmacist satisfaction, the whatever. So I put these in here. If you go back to the person you were chatting with and go down the list, but add items. The big category in each of them is other. But you might look down the list and go, could that one be relevant to my project? No. Well, a lot of them the answer will be no. Well, how about that one? How about that one? How about that one? And see how far you can expand the number of things you might measure.